Heyo. Happy
Happy
Monday, guys.
Monday, everyone. It's Monday. It's your motivational Monday. It's your mindful Monday. It's the Monday Rundown.
What is going on, everyone? Oh, that's why.
So, we're excited to be with you guys today. If this is the first time that you are with Say That channel, we just want to say welcome. We're happy to have you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the like button, ring the
Hit the
notification.
light bulb.
So hit the like button, ding, the notification bell, so that way you don't miss any other of our awesome episodes. Mondays, we love to talk about really cool things that we've been thinking about, talking about offline, and then hearing from other thought leaders and content creators about what their ideas are on the same topic. And so today is another Monday where we get to do the same thing. We're really excited for today's topic.
Absolutely. And guys, over the next 3 weeks, we're actually going to be taking a look at a new thought leader, Brian Tracy. Thank you guys for constantly sending us content, people that you guys are following and getting a lot of value from. So we're going to be taking a look at a lot of his content over the next couple of weeks. So let's jump into today's question and see what we got. Hold on. We got
How do you handle fear and uncertainty when taking risks? How do you handle fear and uncertainty when taking risks? Well, I have to say that I don't know if it necessarily gets handled for me personally.
manager.
Not necessarily like the fear goes away. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to use a metaphor, an analogy, but I recognize it's what I'm going to say seems way less risky than most people's situations that they're thinking about. But like jumping into a pool of like really cold water. I won't even say ice cold because that's like a whole other thing. But let's just say you're about to jump into a pool of really cold water. There's a little bit of a fear. You're like, I don't want to do this, right? Like, the end result is something that you want, though. Like, you want to be in the pool, you want to be swimming, right? And it'll be better afterwards after you just get in. And so, like, for me, I have a very rip the band-aid mentality. I know some people like to step in one step at a time and then get like their body used to it one step at a time. I'm a rip the band-aid type of girl. So I'm just going to jump in all at once. The fear doesn't go away. I'm not like, oh, now I'm not fearful anymore. I think it's two things. One, it's like eventually the goal that I have, the thing that I want on the other side of the risk is like what I focus on.
Okay.
And then I literally just like count and I'm like, all right, 3, 2, 1, go. Actually, I have a great analogy for this. Cold water might seem okay. Okay, so has anyone gone to Jamaica or heard that in Jamaica there is this place called Rick's Cafe where you watch people jump off of a cliff into water, right? So it's like on the very west coast of Jamaica, they have the best sunsets, right? And literally it's a cliff at Rick's Cafe and you jump off the cliff into the ocean. You are jumping off the cliff into the ocean. There could be some rocks underneath, right? It's a very precarious situation. It definitely feels like a risk. You're standing at the edge of that cliff. And I have been there. I've been to Rick's Cafe. I've stood at that cliff's edge and freaked out, like tons of fear, like a lot of it, thinking like, and then, what's crazy is like, I'm thinking, but I could just jump into it. But something was like holding me back. Could not tell you what it was except for absolute terror and fear. And there was this little boy who came up, couldn't have been older than 12. And he's like, oh, are you not jumping? And I was like, no, it's okay. You can go. And he's like, okay. And then jumps. And I'm like, okay, if he could do it, I could do it, right? So then I get up after him and I'm sitting there still trying to jump off this cliff and cannot jump, like literally frozen out of my fear. Like it is the only thing that's holding me back right now. And he's like, you still haven't gone? And I'm like, no, I didn't go. He's like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm like, okay, go ahead. So he goes again. And I'm like, okay, I got to be able to do it. So I stand at the edge again, ready to jump. Nope. Like literally, again, fear is holding me back. It's just like this, like my chest is being like held by an ice grip or something. I just cannot jump off. He comes a third time. He's like, still? No? And I'm like, I just shake my head. I'm just like, no, sorry. And he jumps. This time when he jumps, you hear him scream, what are you waiting for? And I remember thinking, one, this 12-year-old is now embarrassing me. And two, he's right. Like, what am I waiting for? There's proof that like It can be done. It's going to be fine. And finally, I just said, nothing is holding me back. There's nobody holding me back. I can do this. And I counted down. Well, I actually counted up 1, 2, 3. And then I just jumped. And so for me, it's I one got in that situation. I got to see someone do it and knew that they were okay. And then like fear, like the fear didn't go away. It was just a determination and a decision that like I am going to do this. And then I think countdowns or count ups help too. 3, 2, 1s or 1, 2, 3s.
Okay. For me, it's I think knowledge kind of, or I guess similar to you, it's having some sense of what the possible outcomes could be. So mine is not necessarily something physical. I guess it's mostly mental, which is where the fear is. And it was me thinking back to one of the last scary things was deciding to write a book or to take part in a project to put out a book. And I remember the moment of feeling, I guess, with nervousness or the fear. And I think the question I had, or I guess the recognition I had was, it's just a feeling. And like other feelings, I'm conscious that it will pass. Like there's nothing I've ever been afraid of that has consistently kept me afraid, if that makes sense. Like even in the moment of fear, I'm conscious enough to realize that feeling will eventually go away. I don't know the duration, none of those things I'm aware of, but I am aware there's no feeling, good or bad, that I've ever been able to keep consistently. So I mean, that may seem a little, I guess, nerdish, I guess, but whatever. So knowing that, whenever I'm aware I'm in fear, and this happens for me in like roller coasters, I know that as I'm going up, I'm aware I'm going to have that feeling, and it is incredibly uncomfortable, and I don't necessarily handle it. I'm just aware I'm having it. And then again, I'm aware that this will go away. I just need to wait out that awkward feeling and I'll be fine.
I love that.
And that's usually, it's just like an awareness that I have that, again, like whatever this is, like literally whatever you're going through, sadness, happiness, like it's all going to go away. It's actually one of the beautiful things about moments that you have where you do have joy and other things, because you should recognize why it's so important is because this won't last. That moment of joy you have will not last, so you should really cherish it, and vice versa. That moment of fear you have or sadness, it won't last. I get that in the moment, it may not always feel like that, but it just, like, again, we all are aware of this on some level, that this will not last. This feeling will not last. Pain, all these other things. So I don't know if we're doing the best job, guys. Let us know in the comments if what you know how you guys would have handled this. But let's jump into the Brian Tracy content. Let's hear what his advice is and in terms of handling fear.
All right.
Why risk-taking is required to achieve goals. The future belongs to the risk takers, not the comfort seekers. Brian Tracy. Taking risks is an essential part of achieving personal and professional success. By taking risks and opening yourself up to new things, your mind becomes more receptive to opportunities that you may not have considered. Taking risks can also help you grow as a person, as you learn to manage failure and move past your comfort zone. On a larger scale, this can be seen from Steve Jobs at Apple, launching the first iPhone, which has now become one of the world's best-selling smartphones, to Netflix replacing Blockbuster Video. On a smaller scale, this can be seen by your local neighborhood pizza place expanding to open a second location. These all require a certain level of risk-taking. By managing the discomfort of risk-taking, you can experience personal and professional growth. Taking the right risks helps you stay ahead of the competition while providing you with the confidence to aim for loftier goals. Ultimately, risk-taking is essential if you want to reach your full potential. The only way to achieve anything great is to take risks. While some risks are not worth taking, others can have potentially positive outcomes. You'll never break out of the status quo if you don't take risks. This is summed up in the common proverb, nothing ventured, nothing gained. This is why taking risks is essential for growth in many areas of your life, especially if you feel stuck. These open opportunities and experiences that you otherwise might miss out on. Also, overcoming risks can lead to greater success and satisfaction in life. By overcoming these risks, you increase your confidence, which can propel you forward to overcome other challenges that may arise. You have to be willing to accept the risk of failure to succeed. When seeking higher levels of personal and professional success, you have to be willing to accept the real risk of failure. It is this level of risk that is required to achieve great things. If there's no risk of failure, the risk taken would not be great enough to give you a big enough level of progress. Learn to be comfortable with risk and avoid letting fear stop you from going after the things you want in life. Step up and be ready to accept the challenge. And do not be afraid of trying something new. This could be exactly what opens up new possibilities for your personal and professional success. Learn from the successes and failures of others. There are many ways to take risks. One of the best ways is to learn from the success and failures of others. Study the stories of how they have taken risks that worked out well, along with the risks that did not pan out. Look for similarities between successful risk takers, while also looking for similarities between those who weren't successful. This will allow you to gain valuable insight into how you should proceed when considering your own risk-taking strategies. By doing this, you minimize the potential negative aspects of the risks in your ventures. Embrace risk and uncertainty in your life. Change your mindset to view risk and uncertainty as necessary steps on the path to success. You will make mistakes, especially when taking risks. This is normal and expected. Be smart about the risks you take to minimize the impact. But do not let these mistakes hold you back from taking important risks in the future. Be confident in your risk-taking decisions, as you can always course correct if needed. Take informed,
That's a good point.
calculated risks.
Yeah.
Above all else, when taking risks, make them calculated. This means you need to prepare and do your research before taking the risk. Do not take blind or big risks without this important step. Make sure you fully understand the risk and all its impacts on your life. Consider all the different ways this risk can impact you, including if you succeed or if you fail with it. Make sure you look not only at the rewards, but also the consequences, and plan for each scenario. This will allow you to maximize gains and minimize losses. When taking risks to achieve a goal, set realistic, achievable goals for the level of risk involved. Believe in yourself. Taking risks is a natural part of achieving success. Have faith in yourself, your skills, and your judgment. Avoid letting fear or doubt about taking the right risk get in the way of achieving your goals. While risk-taking can seem daunting, it is a normal and required aspect of achieving personal and professional success. It allows you to develop skills, abilities, and confidence as a person while pushing you outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, just
By
like
doing
that.
your research and taking calculated risks, you can maximize your odds of a good outcome while decreasing the odds of a bad one. Taking the right risks can open doors to new opportunities and experiences that you would not have otherwise come across, leading you to achieve your big goals. Now, the question today is this: what's the biggest risk you're willing to take today to move you closer to your goals? Leave a comment
Fair enough.
below, and Brian will be sure to follow up with you. Thank
Well, no promises there, guys. Brian will not follow up with you, but Janelle and I will. um, I actually love that the points that they made were, I think, they articulated what we were both trying to express in a really good way. Because even your story, where you were saying having seen the young boy do it
Mm.
over and over and successfully get back up and so on, helped you build up the confidence within yourself to to take that leap literally. Similar to how people have to take a leap in business, which is, I know the videos seem to be very centered around more business like and that mindset, but I think we preach on the show often, almost like how you do one thing is how you do everything. So that mindset kind of spills over into other things, and I definitely feel that for myself. I know that I think to myself, oh, if I'm feeling cautious about, not cautious, that's wrong. If I feel like there is this outside my comfort zone thing, I know I'm usually better for having done it. Whether I have success in that thing or not, it's the person I've become by doing it that I truly know is that's how I measure myself. Not necessarily always in, dollars and all that, because you may not always make the right bet, but if you've become a better person and if you know yourself better from having done something, you're succeeding.
Yeah, I love that. I love that that's the measurement. I loved also to your point about I caught the same thing. I was like, oh yeah, watching other people's success is just as important as also learning from their failures. So you can learn from the success as well as learning from the failures. Um, I was recently listening to another interview with Stephen Bartlett on Daiwa CEO, and he was talking about learning from the failure of some other folks. And I was like, man, how cool is that he was able to identify that failure? I hope to be able to identify failures as well in others and be able to, learn from that experience. Because I tend to be the person that kind of needs to fail on my own, which in order to really learn the lesson, which I also think is really key that they pointed out, learn from the failure. And that's what you said, Winston. The learning from the failure may not be a loss of money, and success from the risk may not also be a gain of money. It could just be a gain of self-improvement and like, are you a better person? So I love that measurement.
Yeah, I think it's a good thank you for that, because at the end of the day, like if we build a company and let's say the company burned to the ground, I know some of us would look at that whole thing as a failure, but the person you've become built that company, so you are now the person who can go out and do that again. That's what you were. That's what building the company did for you. It let you know you are the type of person that could build a company, could write a book, could teach a class, whatever the thing is, fill in your ... That's what we're here to do. Yeah, that's really what it is. I think as entrepreneurs, that's why people admire them. They've done something that others, didn't believe could be done.
Yeah.
So
100%.
this was a really great question. Thank you guys for that.
We can't wait to see you next week. But as always, remember, you deserve the good life. Say that.
Say that. We'll see you guys. Peace.